As a foreigner, can you drive a car in China? First, I'd like to say there's a big difference between what you can and what you should what you should do. Can is one thing. Of course you can do a lot of things, but should you? If you're legal, I would say yeah, go ahead. But one thing, I've been to many different countries, and a lot of times I just had to go to my local grocery store and get a international driving permit before traveling, and then I'd be able to drive in different countries. China does not accept those international driving permits. You do have to get a driver's license here. More on that in a second here. Get out into the sunlight here. Okay, to get a driver's license in China, if you have a valid driver's license in the country where you're from, you only have to do the written test. You don't have to do the driving test and go through all the training and stuff, which is good. The training, I think, is about 5,000 RMB minimum, and if you fail, then you got to do it again, so it would be 10,000. But if you have a valid driver's license, you can just write the test. But I definitely suggest to study for the test, which you can do by a link I'll provide here. The reason I suggest to study is that some of the questions and subsequent answers don't actually make sense, but all you have to do is memorize them. Even if they don't make sense to you, if you memorize them, they'll be, if they're on the test, you'll get them right and you'll pass. So anyway, how does a foreigner go about driving in China here? Well, let me see here. Due to the miracles of modern technology, it's really nothing to drive here. So you don't have to be fluent in Chinese, but I recommend you learn a few words so that you can understand your GPS, and you can probably go just about anywhere. Let's head out on the road here. Gonna do Dialto. We're gonna turn around. Okay, let's get this going. Let's get this show on the road. Probably not supposed to cross these lines here. Just before you drive, or you attempt to drive here in China, a couple things I should warn you about. They do have lots of different cameras here, traffic cameras. They have cameras that do speed checks. I guess that's pretty common, maybe a lot of places. But they also have cameras that can detect your vehicle just by scratches on it or imperfections in the paint. That's because sometimes people try to either hide their license plate or change it or whatever. So, because you automatically get tickets on WeChat, and you'll get the money deducted from your account. It's not much recourse if you do break the law. So okay, so at this point you have to, when you're driving, you have to slow down for all pedestrian crosswalks. If you don't slow down, there's cameras there that might detect you not doing that, and they'll give you a ticket. There's cameras that can detect whether or not you have a seatbelt on, or if passengers have a seatbelt. I've never gotten a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt, but I know of people that own vehicles that had passengers in the vehicle that didn't wear a seatbelt or didn't wear it properly, and the owner of the vehicle gets the ticket. And Okay, so the next light I gotta turn right. Dongluko, Dongguan. That's next traffic light. Next traffic light, turn right. Oh, sorry if the video's a little shaky here. Going over some speed bumps. Okay, so here comes the next traffic light. Dongluko. So it's red green light. Red green light. Luko is like intersection. Dongguan, turn right. So you got to learn at least those basics, like where to turn and whatnot. Or maybe you could just follow the visuals on your GPS, and you can go this. You can do the same thing. Okay, here we go. Now I've heard also that smoking in the car, you can get a ticket. So they have obviously cameras that can detect that. There's cameras actually on the highway that can that do an average speed. Like you go by one camera, and then when you go by the next camera, like quite a ways down the road, it will average out your speed over that distance. And if you have exceeded the speed limit during that, my GPS keeps talking to me here. If you exceed the speed limit during that time, of course you can get a ticket for that. One thing that's very rare here in China . One thing that okay. Okay, what's it down? Okay, one thing that's very rare here, it's very rare to see someone pulled over. The only time I've ever seen people pulled over is just past the toll booth. I've never seen somebody pull over at the side of the road somewhere. So you don't have to worry about that too much. So you'd probably, if you come over, you'd probably be able to get away with driving if someone were to, be silly enough to lend you their car. You'd probably be able to get away with driving at least one time, get pulled over, and then claim ignorance or something. But you're definitely driving illegally. Now, if you were to do some damage or have an accident while you're driving illegally, you're probably fully responsible, in my guess. Yeah, they don't pull people over here. They have enough cameras that if I was to pull out onto the, in front of me, I have a pedestrian crosswalk. If I was to pull out onto the pedestrian crosswalk, a camera would probably take a picture and then just send me a ticket to my WeChat. Oh, here we go. The camera would probably just send me a ticket to my WeChat. And it'd be as simple as that. They don't have police that pull people over. It's like a general stop sometimes at the as you go through the toll booths on the highway. As you're on your way out. As you're on your way out of the toll booth. Not often, but sometimes I have seen like police stops where they'll pick random vehicles, pull them over, do an inspection on them, check for drinking and driving. Drinking and driving is very serious here. 10 years ago when I first arrived, it was common, and now you go to jail first offense, so it's not recommended. Like even a couple of beers or something, it's not recommended to drink and drive here in China. I'm in Shenzhen, China right now. I'm headed for Dongguan. It's going to be about an hour and 15 minutes, so I won't leave the camera on for the full trip. But I'll try to click back into the camera here for if I see something that's interesting or parts of the trip that I think you might find useful for your trip to China. Okay, I'm coming up on the toll booth, which you can see now that there's 4 available. All 4 of them accept ETC now. In the past it was 1 lane. Now it's all 4 lanes accept, and I think maybe the only 1 lane accepts cash, probably the first lane. Okay, listen to your GPS. This will go towards Dongguan. It's this way. Yeah, so just about everybody now has the ETC for getting through the tolls. Soon they may not even accept cash. I think they do all accept WeChat Pay. So if you don't have cash on you, you can basically pay with WeChat or probably Alipay, I guess. Okay, let's hit the highway. I'm only about 15 minutes into this trip, so I've got about another hour drive ahead of me. One thing you'll notice around Shenzhen area, there's an awful lot of tunnels. Somebody's bored through a lot of mountains. This is not actually a tunnel. This is like a covered bridge here. But probably click back in for a tunnel or 2. There's no doubt I'll be passing through some pretty long tunnels. Okay, coming up on one of these tunnels here. This is a 714 meter tunnel. Check this out. Take off the sunglasses for a few minutes here. Oh, this is the Dongguan city boundary already. One of the handy things about the GPS in the car here is that it will tell you where all the cameras are. It'll tell you the type of camera. Like if there's one of those averaging cameras, it'll tell you that that's there. And it'll show you your average speed during the passing through of the 2 cameras. You'd almost think it defeats the purpose, but it doesn't defeat the purpose because there's that many cameras that it doesn't do you that much good to like try to speed up between cameras. Okay, where I'm driving here today is a little bit deceptive of typical Shenzhen or Guangdong traffic. For one thing, today is about 1 week before Chinese New Year. This year is a little bit special because of the pandemic and the quarantine requirements. People that wanted to go back home, they were tested maybe a week or 2 ago and left early so that they could get back to their hometown, go into a quarantine, and get back out in time for Chinese New Year. Which again is which again is about a week from today. So if they want to be with their family during the Chinese New Year, they would have had to leave a week or 2 earlier. Okay, here's some cameras coming up here. GPS shows you your speed and shows you it shows it in red if you're over the speed limit for this location or for that camera. Does a little beep when you go by the cameras. If you heard that, then you know it's pretty accurate. The other thing that's a little deceptive about the drive today, this is a brand new highway. It just opened weeks ago. So I can't say people don't know about it because you just go where your GPS sends you. So, oh, it looks like they're going to be putting up a gas station, but it's not available yet. They still have gas, that's good. Yeah, it's a brand new highway. So it's not well traveled yet. I don't know, maybe some people don't use GPS, or some people's GPS doesn't send them to the new highway yet. Anyway, this is a brand new highway. It's not well traveled, plus with Chinese New Year coming up and many people having already left, the driving in the traffic today is awesome. Okay, going back through another sulfate jam. toll booth. So I'm getting out off the highway, off the new highway. Not every lane is open yet, so to this lane. And you can basically go through without stopping at this point. This is Dongguan, city right beside Shenzhen. Not as nice as Shenzhen, but I suppose it's on the way there. In Dongguan, if you travel to Dongguan and if you are a pedestrian, I recommend definitely looking left and right before you cross the road. It's almost like night and day between Shenzhen. Shenzhen, all the cars will stop for pedestrians. In Dongguan, they're not quite there yet. You're coming up on another toll booth here. Off the highway once again. Probably need another toll booth. There's a road sign up there. It's all in Chinese, but generally there's Chinese and English on the road signs. So not too difficult to manage. Okay, another Sophie 10. Probably can't see this, so you probably can't see this right here, but just in front of me to my right there's 3 people on a motorcycle. In Dongguan, I'm not sure about the motorcycle rules. In Shenzhen they're not allowed, but there's 3 people. They do have a helmet law that the driver has to have a helmet. Let's see if I can get, okay, there he is right there. 2 passengers have no helmet. That's probably a paid bike, so it's like a taxi, cheap version of a taxi. But in Shenzhen, you could probably do that with e-bikes, but you can't do that with a gas-powered motorcycle. So just looking around here, you may notice that Dongguan's not quite as nice as Shenzhen. Shenzhen's the place you want to go. Driver training. Yes, that's not quite as... Dongguan's not quite as developed. Not as clean. Not that far from my destination at this point. Like I said, the main thing is follow the instructions of your GPS. Try to learn. Try to learn a few words. I gotta keep going straight here. Yeah, try to learn a few words that you'll be able to understand the simplest instructions. Gotta go straight through this intersection. Another kilometer down the road, I gotta turn left. Quite busy in this area. Downtown Dongguan. Okay, get around this delivery guy here. Make a right. I'll be at my location. Oh, actually this might be it here. A Tour Hotel. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is my location. I'll pull in here, check this out. Arrived in Dongguan. Safe and sound. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. Thanks for watching.